So we're live, y'all, and I am attempting to do my makeup, honestly, because I have not done my makeup in forever, and I just want to think about something else other than the craziness of the world. So we're gonna get right into it. This is not like a professional tutorial. I don't have a fancy setup. I'm just in my house and doing my makeup, and we're just gonna get into some things. But right now I'm just prepping my face. I'm using I'm gonna talk about the stuff that I'm using too. I'm not gonna leave y'all hanging. I've talked about this before. It's the NYX, hopefully you can see it, the Bear With Me primer. It's like a gel kind of primer. It's like a cross between like a gel moisturizer, but I really love it for prepping the skin. It really just starts with a nice base. And also another thing, don't judge me for some of the products that I'm using in here. I know everything that's in my kit is not like, you know, cruelty free, animal free, pro this, anti this. I totally get it. I totally get it. I'm working on it. But at this point in the world, I feel like we have way bigger problems to be dealing with than makeup. So I just want this to be light, not too serious, right? And keep in mind, I have not done my makeup in forever. It's really been like a hot minute since I've like done a look. This is not a look. This is totally just my everyday makeup. The baby's actually, I can see her on my monitor. You can't see her, but I can see her. She is sleeping right now. So I'm going to try and do this as fast as I can. This is like every day. Got Ozell in the background. And I haven't done my makeup in forever. So I really kind of feel like I don't even know what I'm doing, but that's okay. So usually, actually, let me get a little mirror because I like to kind of have a mirror up close when I'm doing my makeup. I used to think people were weird for doing that, for like using a little mirror right up here, but I don't know, something about it now just, it works for me. So let me get my little mirror. Come on now. But yeah, I just wanted to do something light and easy. Makeup is still a first love of mine. That's honestly what a majority of my content was about. For those who don't know, I worked at Ulta for some years before I became a mother, and I went to cosmetology school and all that fun stuff. So makeup is a first love of mine, and I'm not even going anywhere in particular today, but I really just need to do something a little bit more relaxing. So right now I'm kind of just like color correcting. It's weird because I've never had to explain how I do my makeup to other people. I even struggle sometimes, you guys, like giving you guys the product breakdown and the details of everything that I'm using, because sometimes I just be using stuff as I go. But this is what is this? Wet n Wild. It's the Photo Focus Stick Foundation. It's cool. I don't really care for it as an all over foundation because I don't know, stick foundations can be really tricky. I've come across some really good ones in my life before, but they can be kind of tricky sometimes. So I'm just looking for a particular brush. Okay. So I usually just blend this out a little bit. I use a thicker foundation in the areas that need more coverage and kind of correction. As opposed to just going in with an all over really heavy foundation all over my face. I never recommend that to people. I get a lot of people that are like, what's the fullest coverage foundation, or what's something that's like, you know, gonna cover everything up? And I totally get we're all going for this like, you know, flawless look, but using a really thick heavy foundation all over the face is not ideal. It's just not, especially in the summertime. So I'm just correcting really quickly. The foundation that I'm using right now, the Wet n Wild one, it kind of has like an orangey tint to it. I know it doesn't look like it on camera. It probably looks a little bit more like lighter, I guess you would say. But in person and when you swatch it, it has more of like an orangey tone to it. And because I get a lot of hyperpigmentation around my mouth, Like I've talked about it before, after I had the baby, my hormones were like all over the place. So hormonal breakouts, I was getting a lot of that around my mouth. So I have scarring there. So that's where my problem area is. That's where my coverage needs to be. So I'm going to do something a little heavier there. And then what are we going to do next? I'm sorry guys, this is probably going to be like a terrible breakdown on how to do makeup, but this is just how I do it. How I do makeup on people and how I do makeup on myself is like two totally different techniques. And even when I'm doing like a look, like an actual look, when I have a certain vision in mind, it's a totally different process. It takes me like 2 hours to do my makeup sometimes, you guys. I'm not even over exaggerating. But I'm gonna go in with the LA Girl. These are the Pro Coverage HD foundations. If you like the Makeup Forever HD foundation, this is really, really, really similar. And it's like way, 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 way cheaper. And it basically works the same. So I'm gonna use 2 colors. I don't have my glasses on, of course. What is this? Natural and warm beige. So I'm a little bit tan right now. This is tan for me. I'm a little bit tanner right now, so I'm gonna use a little bit more of the warm beige. This is a really like sheer toned foundation. You can build it up though. I wouldn't say it's full coverage, but again, I'm not a full coverage girl. I'm really not. I'd rather build my way up than start with something really heavy and then it's too thick and then I'm like kind of like, damn, why did I do that? So we're gonna start with this. It's a little bit sheer. And this is what I use over the majority of my face. Keep in mind, if you're somebody who has, yeah, see, it's a little bit oranger. If you're someone that has an oily skin type, like myself, I have normal to oily skin. And I like that. I like that my skin is a little bit of both. Having really, really dry skin is no fun sometimes. Like I know a lot of girls that have super dry skin, and when you're trying to do that with makeup, it can be really tricky. But if you are oily like me, don't be afraid to use like more dewy foundations. Usually a lot of HD foundations have a tendency to be a little bit more on the dewy side. Don't be afraid to use that. You just have to know how to set your face properly and just really knowing your skin to be able to do it. I don't like using super matte, super full coverage foundations, not even on other people, just because it makes the skin look really dry. I like the skin to look fresh. We want it to look like, you know, I love glam. I love full glam, don't get it twisted, but I don't want it to look heavy. But if you're someone that has like really, really, really oily skin, like I know some people that have like really oily skin. I've done makeup on people that have really, really oily skin. And if you're worried about that coming through, just use like a mattifying primer, like some type of mattifying oil control, moisturizer, something like that will kind of help you out. You can also set your primer. I know that's something that's really popular. You probably watch Jackie Ina videos. She does that. She's not the person that obviously created that. People have been doing that. But you can put your primer on your face, like depending on what primer you're using. And then you can set it with the translucent powder, and it kind of just helps create this nice barrier between your skin and your foundation. It helps your makeup last longer throughout the day. It's not a technique that I use on myself all the time because I don't find that I need to, but you can definitely do that. So I am just blending, and remember, this is like everyday mom makeup. Like I'm not trying to be too perfect, but I like the way this looks so far. See how my skin still looks glowy? See that? Look at that. Get into that. Come on now. My skin still looks glowy. It still looks fresh. So that is what we are going for. I ended up pumping out way more foundation than what I actually even needed. So what's next? What's next? Let's get into it. Oh, concealer. Yes, concealer. Hopefully I grabbed the one that I really need. Here it is. All right, so we're gonna use this guy. And I'm going to use a little bit of Nars. So I talk about this concealer all the time. I've mentioned it a couple different times before actually. It's the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. So good. So good. And then I also like to mix the Nars Creamy Radiant. Let me just say something. Nars Creamy Radiant, and some people might kill me for this. That's fine. I'll take that. This is a good concealer, but I feel like the name is really misleading. It's called the Creamy Radiant Concealer, but I feel like it's kind of dry, low-key, so that's why I don't really go in too much with that concealer, the Nars one, because I feel like it's a little dry. No? Is it me? Am I tripping? And I don't do the full-on triangle anymore. That was something that I used to do with my makeup a lot. I don't do that now. It's not necessary. If the minimal amount of product I can use is usually what my goal is, honestly. And then I'll do a little bit of the Nars on top just to brighten it because it's a little bit brighter. I'll do it on my lip. I don't do too much on my chin like that because you guys have to remember, wherever you put your highlight, your concealer is what is going to emphasize that area, okay? And I don't need my chin to be emphasized. I don't think it's necessary. So now I'm gonna go in with a sponge. I do like to let my concealer under my eye set a little bit because that's where I feel like I need the most coverage. So I'm gonna do these areas first. I do the eyes usually last because when concealer is really, really wet and you blend it out with a wet sponge that's gonna soak up that product, it takes away a lot of your coverage. So if you want more coverage in your concealer or any area that you're laying concealer on, even sometimes with foundation too, like, well, I don't know about foundation, don't listen to that. But concealer, I like to let it sit a little bit. And then we blend. Actually, you know what? Hold on. Hold up. Hold up. Okay. I'm going to use this brush. This is an e.l.f. What is this? Foundation blurring brush. Any dense type of brush like this that fits good under the eye is going to work well for this. I'm going to use a brush first. Again, brushes, especially because I think this is synthetic fiber, it's not going to soak up that product. So I'm actually going to go in with the brush a little bit first. And I put my concealer right up under here because it creates that kind of, see how that kind of just pulled my face up a little bit? That's what we want. I'm going to go with that brush. Hit this side. And I'm not dragging the concealer all over the place. I'm really trying to keep it in the area that I initially put it in. I don't want to smear it everywhere and then you just have like white cast all over and it's a mess. So be mindful of your hand gestures, your techniques, all that good stuff. Be mindful how rough you are on your face, especially under the eye area. But you see that, how that just created like a nice open, awake looking eye. It doesn't look crazy. It doesn't look like I have a crazy sunglass tan or whatever. And keep in mind, like, there is no rules to makeup, but there is a theory to makeup. There's no rules in terms of creativity. If you want to do, I don't know, whatever, do that. But there is a theory to makeup, as with, you know, most things. Okay, so we're gonna, actually, you know what? I'm not gonna set quite yet. I'm gonna bronze a little bit first. So I like to use cream bronzer. I've been doing this method for quite some time, but I like to use a cream, and I hope I have both of them. Yeah. So these are stick foundations. Actually, I just bought them in deeper shades. One is a little bit cooler than the other. This is kind of my cooler tone one, and then one is a little bit warm. So I kind of get like a bronzer, contour kind of situation out of the both of them, and I mix the both of them on the back of my hand. Okay, I like cream because I feel like cream products mimic the skin a little bit better than a powder. It's not that I don't use powder. We're gonna get into some powder for sure. That's not it. We're gonna get into it. But I like to start with cream products because I just feel like it blends better. It mimics the skin a little bit better. I don't really have to worry about getting too patchy. But anyway, so I mix these on the back of my hand, right? Blend it out a little bit. I'm using a blush brush. This is actually an angled blush brush. It's a little bit flexible, but it's a little bit stiff too, and that's exactly what I want. And I'm just gonna start it here. And I kind of start in this like C motion first, and I build it up. I want it to look like I literally just got like the perfect tan, because think about it. See, look at that. See? I want it to look like I have the perfect tan that just hit me in all the right places. But do you see the difference of like how much I just warmed that whole area up compared to over here where we haven't even done any work yet? And see how that just blended in perfectly? I don't use a sponge because I feel like a sponge just soaks up too much product. It makes it patchy. So I like to use like kind of a loose, stiff brush, something that's flexible, that moves on the face good, but then doesn't take away my coverage. And I bring this literally, you guys, on my neck. Like, see how, see? And it gives me just kind of a little bit of a lift. Now, some people might think this is kind of crazy for like everyday makeup. But when I'm not talking, I can do this like really fast and be out the door pretty quickly. So, and keep in mind, this is like, I always bring this up to my forehead. I always like to create this kind of halo of warmth around my forehead, because I have a big ass forehead, in case y'all didn't know. You can thank my mom and my dad for that. But that's okay, because they say big foreheads are like, you know, royalty. I don't know. I could be lying. But I like to create kind of a halo of warmth around that area so that it makes it appear smaller. That's the kind of the rule of thumb with contour and highlight and bronzing and all that. Warmth, cooler tones are going to shrink that area down. Whatever you want to kind of diminish it a little bit, that's when you get into your contour. Wherever you put light is going to emphasize that. So I'm literally just mapping out where I want the light and the depth to hit my face. That's literally all it is. I like to put a lot right here because, I don't know, I just like the way it looks. And also put your bronzer, your contour, well, not your contour. Bronzer and contour are really two different things, so I really shouldn't be using the words like interchangeably. But for your bronzer, your foundations, hit your ears, okay? It just is an extra little finishing touch that maybe you think it doesn't mean anything, but it really does make a difference. See, I'm just bringing that in. Not too crazy, not too crazy. And I'm still using the same that I had on the back of my hand. And then see, I'm bringing it under. It was actually a Scott Barnes tutorial that I was watching where he was, you should watch the way that he does makeup. It's very interesting. It's definitely, his process is definitely more for like TV and stuff like that. But I was watching how much he brings like bronzer and contour down in this area, and it makes such a huge difference, especially like if you're someone like me who is like not out in the sun all the time. You can see my chest is like super pale. So it kind of just helps, like, you know, not have so much of a contrast. I'm gonna grab a little bit more of this guy. And I'm using the L'Oreal, one of them that I'm using is the L'Oreal Infallible Cream Stick Foundations. I bought it on sale when I used to work at Ulta, so I only paid like $2 for it, but I think normally it retails for like $9 or something like that. Still not that bad. But again, I don't use that as an all-over foundation. It's just a little bit too dry for my liking. But it does come in handy if I'm in a rush and I need to get out the door and I don't have time to like do all this. Okay. And then I'm gonna pinch this brush a little bit. And I'm gonna hit the sides of my nose. Just using the leftover product. I'm not grabbing more. You guys would be surprised how much product is left over on your brush that you can still use, you know? Contouring the nose is the hardest part, honestly. It really is. So I'm not gonna like really try and do a full contour. And I bring it up into my eyelid too, because see how it kind of creates like a natural shadow? Over here, killing two birds with one stone. Right? Okay. So now we're gonna set. I'm gonna use the only powder literally that I use, the only powder that I use on myself, on people, clients, whatever you want to call it. It's the powder that I recommend to everybody. It is the Maybelline Fit Me. It's their loose setting powder. It comes in the square like this. If you are a makeup artist and you are looking for a powder with some range, this is really good because it comes in a bunch of different colors, which is nice because not every translucent powder works on every skin tone. You know, that same white sheer translucent powder, it doesn't work on every skin tone. So this powder is really nice because it comes in different shades. So I have like 6 of these powders. I stay stocked up on it. I'm just gonna dip in. Well, actually, you know what? I'm gonna blend this out first. Blend the crease under your eyes. Everybody has creases and fine lines under their eyes, big or small, we all have them. Blend that out first, because if you don't, all you're gonna do is set that crease and then it's just gonna look really crazy. So I dip into my powder, I dust it a little bit, press it on the back of my hand, get the excess off, and then I just set it. I'm not baking, this is not baking, I'm just setting. And I'm using my same damp Beauty Blender sponge or Real Technique sponge. I'm using that same one. And I'm literally just pressing and rolling it into the skin. I'm not using hella powder. I don't do baking anymore. That was definitely a technique that I was guilty of. If you're still doing it and it works for you, do you, boo-boo. But for me, it doesn't work. It looks really dry under the eyes. I don't like doing it on clients either, or people when I'm doing their makeup. I just don't like the way that it looks. It's just super dry. You don't need that much powder. But like I said in the beginning, I'm oily combination. So I'm going to hit this in all of kind of my T-zone areas. And again, you didn't see me dip into hella powder and do it on my face. I'm just using what is on my sponge. Okay, come on. Sorry, my daughter's like monitor is going off right now. Anyways, I'm going to dip into a little bit more powder, just a little bit. And I'm still blotting it off on the back of my hand. And I'm hitting those smile line areas. But see how that kind of just like face tuned my face a little bit? How it just smoothed everything out? But see how, again, the skin, we're still glowing. We still got this, okay? I even put the powder over my eyebrows a little bit because I like to get rid of that kind of oil that sits up under the brows sometimes. And then I'm still going to set all over the face though. But I'm going to take that same powder that Maybelline Fit Me. I'm grabbing it. Where's my my thing? Hold up. There it is. Just do it in here. I just grab a little bit of that powder, tap it off in here, and then I just kind of go over the rest of my face. Lightly. Not doing hella powder. Just lightly. And I use a big fluffy brush. I'm patting my face. I'm not going like this. I don't want to swipe that excess product off. And because we did use cream on the neck, I'm going to do it on my neck a little bit too. Just so it's not going crazy. Okay, get into it. A really good trick too is because I'm using a really liquidy foundation, I'm touching my face a little bit to make sure that there's no areas that are like tacky. I do this on other people's faces too when I'm doing their makeup, because sometimes it's hard to tell if you need powder there or not. So I just lightly touch it. If it still feels like it's tacky in that area, then that means I probably need a little bit more powder. So we're gonna hit it there, okay? And then right after, I'm gonna hit it with a setting spray. I really like this one. It's the LA Girl setting spray. Setting sprays are one of those things that I feel like are kind of a gimmick, a little bit low-key. But there are some that I do like and I do feel that work. I sometimes used to use the Evian water spray. I know some people are like, that's just water. Yes, it is just water, but it hydrates your skin. In my mind, this is how I justify it. It hydrates your skin after you do your powder so that your skin isn't wanting to get oily. The reason why your skin is producing a lot of oil is because it feels like it's really dry. It needs moisture. So I used to go over with this. I still use this product, but I used to go over with this because it was nice and hydrating. It hydrated the skin, it refreshed it again, so that way I wasn't producing a lot of oil throughout the day. Ooh, see, not too much. I like this setting spray though because it's not like it's not a mattifying setting spray or anything like that. I used to use the Urban Decay All Nighter spray all the time. Again, this is when I worked at Ulta, so I used to use it all the time. And then I totally started breaking out, like getting little like texture bumps everywhere. And it worked, it kept my makeup in place, but I started realizing that I was getting texture everywhere. My leg is asleep. And one of my coworkers, actually, I still keep in touch with her to this day. She pointed out to me how much alcohol is in the Urban Decay All Nighter spray and how much that dries out your skin. So then I was like, oh, duh, that makes sense. So yeah, we just set the face a little bit, and then I'm gonna still go over with some more bronzer because I just really love bronzer, you guys, honestly. So I'm gonna go over with my Mercier. This is their bronzer. You can see I've had this for years upon years upon years. And then I'm also gonna go through with, where you at? Hold up. I'm also gonna go through with the NYX matte bronzer. I use a lot of mix, you guys, between high-end products and low-end products. I do not believe that you have to spend tons of money to be able to get a really nice look. I don't believe in that. Price point to me doesn't always necessarily equivalent to good product or bad product. So I'm going through with both of these bronzers. You can see the NYX one is a little bit deeper than the other, and this bronzer has a very subtle shimmer to it, just to kind of keep it natural. The NYX one is really, I don't use that one all the time, but because I'm a little bit more tan, I can get away with that one right now. But both of them, for the most part, are matte. I don't like shiny, shimmery, glittery bronzers. I don't understand. I mean, again, do you? But for me, it doesn't work. I feel like it just emphasizes texture. But the Mercier one has a little bit of a glow to it, so it doesn't, like, you know, it doesn't look dry or anything like that either. And then I'm just gonna go through some more bronzer here, down the neck. This video is already almost 30 minutes long. I don't even know how I'm gonna edit this down to 15 minutes. I hate that IGTV does that. It's so freaking stupid. Probably gonna do like a part 1, part 2 maybe. All right, so I added a little bit more bronzer. I also do bronzer on my nose. That's kind of been my thing lately. I like the way it looks. It kind of gives you like a, you know, just went to, you know, somewhere, some vacation, and got a cute little tan. So I do put a little bit on my nose, and I do it that way when I don't have time to sit there and like do a full contour on my nose like that. Okay, we got a little bit of color. So I'm gonna take some blush. I'm gonna take this is one of my favorites. I got this at TJ Maxx. Someone told me you shouldn't buy makeup at TJ Maxx because it's expired, which is kind of true, kind of not true. When I used to work at Ulta, there were definitely a lot of like collections that we would get in our store, and then once the collection kind of fizzled out, we would have to send any leftover product back to the company. I don't know if that's like an Ulta secret that I'm supposed to be sharing or not, but I feel like that's like common knowledge, no? We would send that product back to the company. What they did with that product, I do not know, but you know, I'm sure they're still trying to get a profit. So I think that's how it ends up at TJ Maxx. But this is a Laura Geller blush. It's the Roseberry Baked Blush. I don't know. It's really pretty. It's got a little bit of a shimmer to it. Not crazy. But I love blush. Blush is my favorite. Some people I notice are scared of blush because they don't want to look like a clown. And that's understandable. I feel that. I feel you. But it just brings natural color back into the face. It's all about finding a blush that works with your skin tone well, is kind of a perfect balance of glow, but also not glittery. And I kind of put my blush like all here because again, I'm just trying to get color back in the face. And you can see like, come on now, you know the vibes. And then I put a little bit on my nose too, because I like that kind of like, you know, when you get like, when you get sick, that kind of red sniffly nose that you get. I kind of like that look just a little bit. See, that's when the creativity comes in part, because some people may not like that look, but I have the kind of nose I feel that can kind of pull that look off, so I like to do it. And then I'm going to go through with a Tarte blush. This is so old, so I really don't know what the name of this is at this point. Oh no, just kidding. Party. This is from a birthday collection, so I think this was specifically for birthdays, but you can find something similar. And I'm going to go over again on my nose. I even go over my lip a little bit too. See? Just to put some color back in. Okay, so we're done with blush. I'm going to try to do brows really quickly. My eyebrows have been a journey, to say the least. But I'm going to do my best. And I'm trying to do my brows kind of quick too. I use the Maybelline, the brow. What is this? You guys, I don't have my glasses on. Ever since I've had a baby, I cannot see. As if I wasn't already blind, I'm really blind now. It's the Brow Ultra Slim pencil. I love it. It's like the perfect brow pencil to me, because it's not super dark. It's kind of light. It's kind of faint a little bit, but that's nice because you don't want a dark, harsh brow. At least I don't. So I'm just gonna do these real quick. Probably gonna edit this part out, because doing brows is not that interesting to watch on camera all the time. I always start on my tail end though. I never start at the front of my brow. That is where you want the least amount of product. It's at the front of your brow. And once I do get to the front, I'm like super duper light-handed about it. Like very light-handed. That works for me. I'm okay with that. We're pleased. I'm not gonna overdo with the brows because I'm not going anywhere right now, at least. So I'm not trying to do a full-on brow like that. Ooh, see? Got a little bit too crazy with that one, a little bit. My brows have come a long way, because when I look at what my brows were looking like when I was doing them like back in the day, like in high school, which isn't necessarily that far ago. Far ago? No, that long ago. Come on, girl. They've come a long way. This is my struggle brow on this side. Everybody has a struggle brow, right? This is my struggle brow on this side. I'm just gonna fill the front in a little bit, and I'm okay with that. We're happy. I'm not gonna overthink it. When you start to overthink your brows too much, that's when they end up looking like really crazy. And I already have like thick, darker hair, so I don't need to go in. And I'm not gonna carve out my brows either. That's another technique that I reserve it for a certain time and a place. And now is not the time right now. I am though, however, looking. I don't know if I grabbed it. I don't think I did. My soap brow. I was gonna do that, but that's okay. I'm not gonna stand up and go through all that. What else do we need to do? I don't really think I'm gonna do mascara because my eyes are so watery. So let's just get into lip liner, and then we're gonna kind of wrap this up. I wasn't intending for this to be like a crazy long tutorial at all. Okay. Where's my mirror? There it is. It's a constant struggle of looking for all my shit. Okay. This is the, my sister got me this lip liner and I use it all the time. It's the Morphe Love Bite. I tag this all the time. It's one of my favorites. It's like a perfect pink brown situation. And I do overline my lips just a little bit because we like the look of it. The key with overlining your lips though is to not go too far over your natural lip line, because trust and believe, honey, we can see it. And if that's you, if you like that, go for it, but it ain't for me. So I'm just going over a little bit. Lip liner is actually one of my favorite parts because I feel like it really just really makes the look. But I like my Cupid's bow, so I still kind of leave that a little bit defined. I'm gonna hit the sides here. We're not done though. We're not done. So I hit the sides, right? Do a little bit in the center too, because I have from like growing up in the summertime, going out to Minnesota for my summers in California and stuff, not knowing that sunscreen was like a thing that existed. I have a lot of hyperpigmentation on my lips, so I go over it with the lip liner a little bit. And then the lip color I'm gonna use, I don't know, what should I use? I will, however, moisturize a little bit first. This is the It Cosmetics. It's like their little lip balm that changes colors. It puts a nice pink tone under the lips. We like that. And I'm probably just gonna put a clear lip gloss on top, you guys, because that's really just what I do. If I can find it, we can get into it. I don't have a clear lip gloss in here. Not in front of me right now. That's okay. I'm gonna use, this is another, it's a Laura Geller lip gloss. It has a little bit of a shimmer to it. It's kind of iridescent, like kind of like holographic, you know? So we can use that. I love lip gloss so much. I really do. That's like my one guilty pleasure is lip gloss. I can be in a makeup store and see a lip gloss that I know I probably have something similar, if not damn near the exact same thing at my house, and I'll still buy. Okay, so my camera died. No surprise there, right? I'm still getting used to this whole like filming thing and stuff. It's like a different territory for me. But we're about to wrap this up. So I'm gonna go over, oh, this is not the one that I wanted actually. It's okay, it'll do for now. I'm just gonna go over with a brown lip liner to kind of define a little bit more. Since I put that lip gloss on top, I don't want it to take away from the, because I like my lip liner to show. I like that look. Okay, and then pretty much last but not least, I'm gonna go over my beauty marks. I have a lot of beauty marks on my face and I like them to show. I don't like the foundation to be covering over them. So literally the same brow pencil I use for my brows, I'm going back over with these. And then I have one up here. There we go. And I feel like I'm pretty much done. The only thing I'm gonna do probably is add a little, such an ugly angle. I'm gonna add a little bit of extra mascara right on my bottom lash line. I'm using brown mascara, like a dark brown. It's the L'Oreal Voluminous Mascara. And just a little bit on the bottom lash line, so I don't look like completely blank there. But I'm not going to do a lot because my eyes water so bad, and I have a tendency to rub my eyes without even like hesitating. So a little goes a long way. I don't use any highlighter really like that anymore, but just for the sake of the video, I'll go through with one of my favorites. Is this it? Yeah, this is the Cheeky Bronze from MAC. I know a lot of people don't like MAC. It's okay. I bought this back in the day before I knew, but it works for me, so I'm still gonna use it. But this one is like a bronzy rose gold kind of highlight, and it just looks so pretty on the skin, you guys. It's a shade that is kind of universal too. It can be used on a lot of different skin tones. You see, it just adds that extra little extra kick, right? Just a little on my nose. Again, this is not, I don't go too crazy with the highlight. I'm really over the whole highlighting thing. I've been over it. I'm tired of companies making highlighters. We already have enough on the market. I really don't need any more. I'm gonna put a little under the brow too, just to give extra glow. And yeah, we are pretty much done. I just need my hoops and we're done, right? I don't think I'm gonna add anything else. I'm satisfied with where this is at. This is mom makeup, okay? I'm gonna wrap it up. Hopefully you guys like this. I just really wanted to do something chill and like focus my energy in a different area. This is how I do my makeup. Literally on the fly all the time. Maybe I'll start doing more in-depth like looks, you know, but that's a lot of work, you guys. It's a lot of work. So yeah, hopefully you like this. Have a good day. Stay blessed. Stay favored. And yeah, peace.